Madhya Lila, Chapter 9, Text 244. Shringeri Mate Aila, Shankaracharya Stane, Matsya Tirtha Dekhi Kaila, Tunga Bhadraya Snane. Translation. There he saw the monastery known as Shringeri Mate, the abode of Acharya Shankara. He then visited Matsya Tirtha, a place of pilgrimage, and took a bath in the river Tungabhadra. Purport. The monastery known as Shringeri Mat is situated in the province of Mysore, Mahisura, in the district of Shimoga. This monastery is located on the left bank of the river Tungabhadra, 7 miles south of Hariharpura. The real name of this place is Sringagiri, or Sringavarapuri, and it is the headquarters of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya had 4 principal disciples, and he established 4 centers under their management. In North India, at Badaricharama, the monastery named Jyotir Mat was established. At Purushottama, the Bhogavardhana or Govardhan monastery was established. At Dwarka, the Sarada monastery was established, and the 4th monastery, established in South India, is known as Shringeri Mat. In the Shringeri Mat, the sannyasis assumed the designation Saraswati, Bharati, and Puri. They are all Ekadandi sannyasis, distinguished from the Vaishnava sannyasis, who are known as Tridandi sannyasis. The Shringeri Mat is situated in South India in a portion of the country known as Andhra Dravida, Karnataka, and Kerala. The community is called Bhuvibara, and the dynasty is called Bhurabhuvaha. The place is called Ramesvara, and the slogan is Aham Brahmasmi. The deity is Lord Varaha, and the energetic power is Kamakshi. The Acharya is Hasta Malaka, and the Brahmachari assistants of the sannyasis are known as Chaitanya. The place of pilgrimage is called Tungabhadra, and the subject for Vedic study is the Yajur Veda. The list of the disciplic succession from Shankaracharya is available, and the names of the acharyas and their dates according to the Shaka era or Sakabda are as follows. Shankaracharya 622 Saka, Sureshvaracharya 630, Bodhanacharya 680, Gyanandanacharya 768, Gyanotama Shivacharya 827, Janagiriacharya 871, Simhagiriacharya 958, Ishvaratirtha 1019, Narasimha-tirtha 1067, Vidyatirtha Vidya Shankara 1150, Bharati Krishna Tirtha 1250, Vidyaranya Bharati 1253, Chandrasekhar Bharati 1290, Narasimha Bharati 1309, Purushottama Bharati 1328, Sankarananda 1350, Chandrasekhar Bharati 1371, Narasimha Bharati 1386, Purushottama Bharati 1394, Ramachandra Bharati 1430, Narasimha Bharati 1479, Narasimha Bharati 1485, Dhanamadi Narasimha Bharati 1498, Abhinava Narasimha Bharati 1521, Satchidananda Bharati 1544, Narasimha Bharati 1585, Satchidananda Bharati 1627, Abhinava Satchidananda Bharati 1663, Narasimha Bharati 1689, Satchidananda Bharati 1692, Abhinava Satchidananda Bharati 1730, Narasimha Bharati 1739, Satchidananda Shiva Bhinava Vidya Narasimha Bharati 1788. Regarding Shankaracharya, it is understood that he was born in the year 608 of the Sakabda era in the month of Vaishakha, on the third day of the waxing moon in a place in South India known as Kaladi. His father's name was Shiva Guru, and he lost his father at an early age. When Shankaracharya was only 8 years old, he completed his study of all scriptures and took sannyas from Govinda, who was residing on the banks of the Narmada. After accepting sannyas, Shankaracharya stayed with his spiritual master for some days. He then took his permission to go to Varanasi, and from there went to Badarika Shrama, where he stayed until his 12th year. While there, he wrote a commentary on Brahma Sutra, as well as 10 Upanishads and Bhagavad-Gita. He also wrote Sanat Sujatya and Narasimha Tapani. Among his many disciples, his 4 chief disciples are Padmapada, Sureshvara, Hastamalaka, and Throtaka. After departing from Varanasi, Shankaracharya went to Prayag, where he met a great learned scholar called Kumarila Bhatta. Shankaracharya wanted to discuss the authority of the scriptures, but Kumarila Bhatta, being on his deathbed, sent him to his disciple Mandana in the city of Mahishmati. It was there that Shankaracharya defeated Mandana Mishra in a discussion of the Shastras. Mandana had a wife named Saraswati, or Ubhaya Bharati, who served as a mediator between Shankaracharya and her husband. It is said that she wanted to discuss erotic principles and amorous love with Shankaracharya, but Shankaracharya had been a brahmachari since birth and therefore had no experience in amorous love. He took a month's leave from Ubhaya Bharati and by his mystic power entered the body of a king who had recently died. In this way, Shankaracharya experienced the erotic principles. After attaining this experience, he wanted to discuss erotic principles with Ubhaya Bharati, but without hearing his discussion, she blessed him and assured the continuous existence of the Sringeri Mat. She then took leave of material life. Afterwards, Madana Mishra took the order of sannyas from Shankaracharya and became known as Suresvara. Shankaracharya defeated many scholars throughout India and converted them to his Mayavad philosophy. He left the material body at the age of 33. As far as Matsya Tirtha is concerned, it was supposedly situated beside the ocean of the district of Malabara. Text 245. Madhava Charya Stane Aila Yanhatatvavadi Udupite Krishna Deki Tahan Haila Trimon Madi. Translation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next arrived at the place of Madhavacharya, where the philosophers known as Tattvavadis resided. He stayed there at a place known as Udupi, where he saw the deity of Lord Krishna and became mad with ecstasy. Purport. Sripad Madhavacharya took his birth at Udupi, which is situated in South Kannada district of South India, just west of Shyadri. This is the chief city of South Kannada province and is near the city of Mangalore, which is situated to the south of Udupi. In the city of Udupi is a place called Pajaka Kshetra, where Madhavacharya took his birth in a Shivali Brahmana dynasty as the son of Madhyaga Bhatta in the year 1040 of Shakabda. According to some, he was born in the year 1160 Shakabda. In his childhood, Madhavacharya was known as Vasudeva, and there are some wonderful stories surrounding him. It is also said that his father piled up many debts, and Madhavacharya converted tamarind seeds into actual coins to pay them off. When he was 5 years old, he was offered a sacred thread. The demon named Maniman lived near his abode in the form of a snake, and at the age of 5, Madhavacharya killed that snake with the toe of his left foot. When his mother was very disturbed, he would appear before her in one jump. He was a great scholar even in childhood, and although his father did not agree, he accepted sannyas at the age of 12. After receiving sannyas from Achyuta Preksha, he received the name Purna Prajna Tirtha. After traveling all over India, he finally discussed scriptures with Vidyan Shankara, the exalted leader of Sringeri Math. Vidhyasnakara was actually diminished in the presence of Madhavacharya. Accompanied by Satyatirtha, Madhavacharya went to Badarikarashma. It was there that he met Vyasadeva and explained his commentary on Bhagavad-Gita before him. Thus he became a great scholar by studying before Vyasadeva. By the time he came to the Ananda Mutt from Badarikrama, Madhavacharya had finished his commentary on Bhagavad-Gita. His companion Satyatirtha wrote down the entire commentary. When Madhavacharya returned from Badarikrama, he went to Ganjama, which is on the bank of the river Godavari. He met there with two learned scholars named Sobhana Bhatta and Swami Shastri. Later, these scholars became known as the disciplic succession of Madhavacharya as Padmanabha Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha. When he returned to Udupi, he would sometimes bathe in the ocean. On such an occasion, he composed one prayer in 5 chapters. Once, while sitting beside the sea engrossed in meditation upon Lord Krishna, he saw that a large boat containing goods for Dwarka was in danger. He gave some signs by which the boat could approach the shore, and it was saved. The owners of the boat wanted to give him a present, and at the time, Madhavacharya agreed to take some Gopi Chandan. He received a big lump of Gopi Chandan, and as it was being brought to him, it broke apart and revealed a large deity of Lord Krishna. The deity had a stick in one hand and a lump of food in the other. As soon as Madhavacharya received the deity of Krishna in this way, he composed a prayer. The deity was so heavy that not even 30 people could raise it. Madhavacharya personally brought this deity to Udupi. Madhavacharya had 8 disciples, all of whom took sannyas from him and became directors of his 8 monasteries. Worship of the Lord Krishna deity is still going on at Udupi according to the plans Madhavacharya established. Madhavacharya then, for the second time, visited Badarikrama while he was passing through Maharashtra. The local king was digging a big lake for the public benefit. As Madhavacharya passed through that area with his disciples, he was also obliged to help in the excavation. After some time, when Madhavacharya visited the king, he engaged the king in that work and departed with his disciples. Often in the province of Ganga Pradesh, there were fights between Hindus and Mohammedans. The Hindus were on the bank of the river and the Mohammedans on the other. Due to the community tension, no boat was available for crossing the river. The Mohammedan soldiers were always stopping passengers on the other side, but Madhavacharya did not care for these soldiers. He crossed the river anyway, and when he met the soldiers on the other side, he was brought before the king. The Mohammedan king was so pleased with him that he wanted to give him a kingdom and some money, but Madhavacharya refused. While walking on the road, he was attacked by some dacoits, but his bodily strength, he killed them all. When his companion Satyatirtha was attacked by a tiger, Madhavacharya separated them by virtue of his great strength. When he met Vyasadeva, he received from him the Salagram Shila known as Ashtamurti. After this, he summarized the Mahabharata. Madhavacharya's devotion to the Lord and his erudite scholarship are known throughout India. Because of this, the owners of the Sringeri Mutt established by Shankaracharya became a little perturbed. At that time, the followers of Shankaracharya were afraid of Madhavacharya's rising power, and they began to tease Madhavacharya's disciples in many ways. There was even an attempt to prove that the disciplic succession of Madhavacharya was not in line with the Vedic principles. One person named Pundarik Puri, a follower of the Mayavad philosophy of Shankaracharya, came before Madhavacharya to discuss the Shastras. It is said that all of Madhavacharya's books were taken away, but later they were found with the help of King Jayasimha, ruler of Kumla. In discussion, Pundarik Puri was defeated by Madhavacharya. A great personality named Trivikramacharya, who was a resident of Vishnumangala, became Madhavacharya's disciple, and his son later became Narayanacharya, the composer of Sri Madhava Vijaya. After the death of Trivikramacharya, the younger brother of Narayanacharya took sannyas and later became known as Vishnutirtha. At that time, it was reputed that there was no limit to the bodily strength of Purnapragya, Madhavacharya. There was a person named Kandanjari who was famed for possessing the strength of 30 men. Madhavacharya placed the big toe of his foot upon the ground and asked the man to separate it from the ground. But the great strong man could not do so even after great effort. Srila Madhavacharya passed from this material world at the age of 80 while writing a commentary on the Aitareya Upanishad. For further information about Madhavacharya, one should read Madhava Vijaya by Narayanacharya. The Acharyas of the Madhava Sampradaya established Udupi as the chief center, and the monastery there was known as Uttaradhari Mat. A list of different centers of the Madhavacharya Sampradaya can be found at Udupi, and their Mat commanders are Vishnu Tirtha, Soda Mat, 2 Janardhan Tirtha, Krishnapura Mat, 3 Vamana Tirtha, Kanura Mat, 4 Narasimha Tirtha, Adharma Mat, 5 Upendra Tirtha, Pudigi Mat, 6 Ramatirtha, Sirura Mat, 7 Rishikesh Tirtha, Palimara Mat, and 8 Akshobhya Tirtha, Pejavara Mat. The disciplic succession of the Madhava Sampradaya is as follows: Hamsa Paramatma, 2 Chaturmukha Brahma, 3 Sankari, 4 Durvasa, 5 Jnanidhi, 6 Garuda Vahana, 7 Kaivalya Tirtha, 8 Ganesha Tirtha, 9 Paratirtha, 10 Satya Pragya Tirtha, 11 Pragya Tirtha, 12 Achyuta Prakacharya Tirtha, 13 Sri Madhavacharya, 1040 Shaka, okay, so number 13 is Sri Madhavacharya, 1040 Shaka. Number 14, Padmanabha, 1120. Narahari, 1127. Madhava, 1136. And Akshobhya, 1159. 15, Jayatirtha, 1167. Number 16, Vidya Dhiraj, 1190. Number 17, Kavindra, 1255. Number 18, Vagisha, 1261. 19, Ramachandra, 1269. Number 20, Vidyanidhi, 1298. Number 21, Sri Raghunath, 1366. Number 22, Rayuvarya, who spoke with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Number 1424. Number 23, Raghutama, 1471. 24, Vedavyas, 1517. 25, Vedhyadisha, 1541. 26, Vedhanidhi, 1553. 27, Satyavrata, 1557. 28, Satyanidhi, 1560. 29, Satyanatha, 1582. 30, Satya Bhinava, 1595. 31, Satyapurna, 1628. 1628. Number 32, Satya Virajya, 1648. Number 33, Satya Priya, 1659. Number 34, Satya Bodha, 1666. Number 35, Satya Shananda, 1705. Number 36, Satyavara, 1716. 37, number 37, Satya Dharma, 1719. Number 38, Satya Shankalpa, number 1752. Number 39, Satya Samtushta, 1763. Number 40, Satya Parayana, 1763. Number 41, Satya Kama, 1785. Number 42, Satyeshta, 1793. 43, Satya Parakrama, 1794. Number 44, Satyadhira, 1801. Number 45, Satyadhira Tirtha, 1808. After the 16th Acharya, Vidyadiraj Tirtha, there was another disciplic succession, including Vajendra Tirtha, 1254, Vijayadvaja, Purushottama, Subramanya, Vyasaroy, 1470 through 1520. The 19th Acharya, Ramachandra Tirtha, had another disciplic succession, including Vibhuhendra, 1218, Jitamitra, 1348, Raghunandana, Supendra, Vijendra, Sujindra, Bhaghavendra Tirtha, 1545. To date, the Udupi Monastery, there are another 14 Madhava Tirtha sannyasis. As stated, Udupi is situated in South Kannada, about 36 miles north of Mangalore. It is situated beside the sea. This information is available from the South Kannada Manual in the Bombay Gazette. Text 246. Nartaka Gopala Deke Parama Mohane Madhava Charya Svapnadiya Aila Tandrastane. Translation. While at the Udupi Monastery, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw dancing Gopala, a most beautiful deity. This deity appeared to Madhavacharya in a dream. Text 247. Gopi Chandana Tale Achila Dingate Madhavacharya Se Krishna Paila Kona Mate. Translation. Madhavacharya had somehow or other acquired the deity of Krishna from a heap of Gopi Chandan that had been transported in a boat. Text 248. Madhavacharya Anitandre Karila Stapana Adhyavadhi Sevakare Tattva-vadigana. Translation. Madhavacharya brought this dancing Gopal deity to Udupi and installed him in the temple. To date, the followers of Madhavacharya, known as Tattvavadis, worship this deity. Text 249. Krishnamurti Dekhi Prabhu Mahashuka Paila Prema Vesha Bahukshana Nritya Gita Kaila. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received great pleasure in seeing this beautiful form of Gopal. For a long time he danced and chanted in ecstatic love. Text 250. Tattvavadi Gana Prabhuke Mayavadi Gyane Pratama Darshane Prabhuke Nakaila Sambhashane. Translation. At first sight, the Tattvavadi Vaishnavas considered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a Mayavadi sannyasi. Therefore, they did not talk to him. Text 251. Hache Prema Vesha Dekhi Haila Chamatkara Vaishnava Jnane Bahuta Kadila Shatkara. Translation. Later, after seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in ecstatic love, they were struck with wonder. Then, considering him a Vaishnava, they gave him a nice reception. Text 252. Vaishnava Sabara Antare Garva Jani Ishatashiya Kichu Kahe Gora Mani. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that Tattvavadis were very proud of their Vaishnavism. He therefore smiled and began to speak to them. Text 253. Tamsabara Antare Garva Jani Gora Chandra Tamsaba Sange Gosti Karila Aramba. Translation. Considering them very proud, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his discussion. Text 254. Tatvavari Acharya Sabha Shastrete Pravina Tandre Prashana Kaila Prabhu Anuyena Dina. Translation. The chief Acharya of the Tattvavad community was very learned in the revealed scriptures. Out of humility, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu questioned him. Text 255. Sadhya sadhana ami na jani bala mate sadhya sadhana shrestha janaha amate. Translation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I do not know very well the aim of life and how to achieve it. Please tell me the best ideal for humanity and how to attain it. Text 256. Acharya kahe varna shrama dharma krishna samarpana ei haya krishna bhaktera shrestha sadhana. Translation. The Acharya replied, when the activities of the four castes and the four ashrams are dedicated to Krishna, they constitute the best means whereby one can attain the highest goal of life. Text 57. Panchavidha murti pana vaikunte gamana sadhyastvestahaya ei shastra nirupana. Translation. When one dedicates the duties of the Varnashram Dharma to Krishna, he is eligible for 5 kinds of liberation. Thus he is transferred to the spiritual world in Vaikuntha. This is the highest goal of life and the verdict of all revealed scriptures. Text 258. Prabhu kahe shastre kahe shravana kirtana Krishna preme sheva valera parama sadhana. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, according to the verdict of the Shastras, the process of hearing and chanting is the best means to attain loving service to Krishna. Purport. According to the Tattvavadis, the best process is to execute the duties of the 4 Varnas and Ashrams. In the material world, unless one is situated in one of the Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, one cannot manage social affairs properly to attain the ultimate goal. One also has to follow the principles of the ashrams, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas, which are considered essential for the attainment of the highest goal. In this way, the Tattvavadis establish that the execution of the principles of varna and ashram for the sake of Krishna is the best way to attain the topmost goal. The Tattvavadis thus established their principles in terms of human society. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, differed when he said that the best process is hearing and chanting about Lord Vishnu. According to the Tattvavadis, the highest goal is returning home, back to Godhead. But in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's opinion, the highest goal is attaining love of Godhead, either in the material or spiritual world. In the material world, this is practiced according to Shastric injunction, and in the spiritual world, the real achievement is already there. Texts 259 through 260. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam parasevanam arachanam archanam vandanam dasyam saksham atma nivedanam iti pumas pita iti pumsar pita Vishnu bhutischin nava lakshana kriyeta bhagvati adha tan manye ditam utamam. Translation. This process entails hearing, chanting, and remembering the holy names, form, pastimes, qualities, and entourage of the Lord, offering service according to them, place and performer, worshipping the deity, offering prayers, always considering oneself the eternal servant of Krishna, making friends with him and dedicating everything unto him. These 9 items of devotional service, when directly offered to Krishna, constitute the highest attainment of life. This is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted these verses from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23 through 24. Text 261. Shravana kirtana harte krishne haya prema Sri Panchama Purusartha Purushartera Sima. Translation. When one comes to the platform of loving service to Lord Krishna by executing these 9 processes, he has attained the 5th platform of success and the limit of life's goals. Purport. Everyone is after success in religion, economic development, sense gratification, and ultimately merging into the existence of Brahman. These are the general practices of the common man, but according to the strict principles of the Vedas, the highest attainment is to rise to the platform of Shravanam, Kirtanam, chanting and hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2. Dharma prajohita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsanaranam satam vedyam vastavam astra vastu shivadam tapa trayon mulanam. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Parar Ishvaraha Sadyo Hridi Avarujate Tra Kirtvihi Shushru Shubishtat Kshanat. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavat Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Sri Vyasadeva, is sufficient in itself for God realization. As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, he becomes attached to the Supreme Lord. According to Sridhar Swami, the material conception of success, moksha, or liberation is desired by those in material existence. Not being situated in material existence, the devotees have no desire for liberation. A devotee is always liberated in all stages of life because he is always engaged in the 9 items of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy holds that devotional service to Krishna always exists in everyone's heart. It simply has to be awakened by the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Shravanadi Sudha Chite Karaye Udhe. Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya lila 22.107. When a person is actually engaged in devotional service, his eternal relationship with the Lord, the servant-master relationship, is awakened. Text 262. Evam vrata svapriya nama kirtya jatanurago druta chita uchahi hasati ato roditi rauti gayati udmadavan nriryati loka vayaha. Translation. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants just like a madman, not caring for outsiders. Purport. This verse is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.40. Text 263. Karma ninda karma tyaga sarva shastre kahe karma haite prema bhakti krishna kabu nahe. Translation. In every revealed scripture there is condemnation of fruitive activity. It is advised everywhere to give up engagements in fruitive activity, for by it no one can attain the highest goal of life, love of God. Purport. In the Vedas there are 3 khandas or divisions, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upashan Kanda. The Karma Kanda portion stresses the execution of fruitive activities, although ultimately it is advised that one abandon both Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda, speculative knowledge, and accept only Upashan Kanda, or Bhakti Kanda. One cannot attain love of Godhead by executing Karma Kanda or Jnana Kanda. However, dedicating one's karma or fruitive activities to the Supreme Lord, one may be relieved from the polluted mind. But when one is actually free from mental pollution, one must be elevated to the spiritual platform. It is then that one needs the association of pure devotee, for only by a pure devotee's association can one become a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord of Godhead, Krishna. When one comes to the stage of pure devotional service, the process of Shravanam Kirtanam is very essential. By executing the 9 items of devotional service, one is completely purified. Anya Bilashita Sunyam Jana Karmadi Anavratam. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.12. Only then is one able to execute the order of Krishna. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evalyashi satyamte pratigyane priyoshime. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Bhagavad-Gita 18.65. Sarva dharmam prityaga namikam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami ma sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Bhagavad-Gita 18.66. In this way, one develops his original constitutional position by which he can render loving service to the Lord. One cannot be elevated to the highest platform of devotional service by karma kand or gyan kand. Pure devotional service can be understood and attained only through the association of pure devotees. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that there are 2 types of karma kand activities, pious and impious. Pious activities are certainly preferred to impious activities, but even pious activities cannot assure one ecstatic love of God, Krishna. Pious and impious activities can bring about material happiness or distress, but there is no possibility in one's becoming a pure devotee simply by acting piously or impiously. Bhakti, devotional service, means satisfying Krishna. In every revealed scripture, whether Gyan Kand or Karma Kand is stressed, the principle of renunciation is always praised, the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supreme Vedic evidence. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Naiskar Naiskarmyam api achuta bhava varjitam na sobhate jnanam alam niranjanam kuta puna sashvad abhadram ishvare na charpitam karma yad api akaranam. Knowledge of self-realization, even though freed from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of conception of the infallible God. What then is the use of fruitive activities which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient by nature, if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord? Bhagavad Gita 1.5.12. This means that even knowledge, which is superior to fruitive activity, is not successful if it is devoid of devotional service. In all scriptures, in the beginning, middle, and end, karma kand and jnana kand are condemned. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Dharma prohijita katayavotra. This is explained in the following verses taken from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.11.32 and Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Madhava Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai Sripad Krishna Krishna Keshav Ki Jai.